welcome to this week's episode of Wisdom in the Best Books and Films, where we go find bite-sized bits of truth that will help us all to reach our divine potential. This week, I'm excited to talk to you guys about a trilogy called the Licanius Trilogy by James Islington, which may be my favorite trilogy I have ever read. The storytelling is the best storytelling of any that I've ever read. He had a clear plan and path through the full 3-book trilogy, and it has a lot of really smoothly interwoven thoughts about the difference between free will and determinism, which are just perfectly meshed with the story, so it's not like it's preaching to you or anything like that. Really great, fantastic story. I highly recommend you read it. And I would say it's appropriate for any kids over the age of about probably 14 or 15, kind of PG-13 rating. There will be no spoilers, but it is from the 3rd book in the trilogy that I'm going to talk about things today. If you enjoy the show, as usual, please leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify and share the link with friends. The title of this week's episode Is There a Gray Area? In The Light of All That Falls, Book 3 of the Licanius Trilogy by James Islington, the main character, Davian, is working to help a man who in the past has been known to do terrible evil, but who is now presenting himself as repentant. Davian's friend Raelith agrees to help because he trusts Davian, but he offers an insightful warning as a caveat. Quote, "Your association with him must not compromise what you think is right." Raelith held Davian's gaze steadily. "Even if you think it would mean escape, or saving lives, or," he gestured. "Given what he has done, even if he has changed, I fear what he will ask of you. Evil men rarely convince others to their side by asking them to perform dark deeds for no good reason. They will always start with the lightest shade of gray. They so often use what seems like a good cause." "You don't think it's possible that a little gray is what's needed sometimes?" asked Davian. Raelith snorted. "No," he said severely. "Gray is the color of cowardice and ignorance and sheer laziness, Davian. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. If someone is not clearly right or clearly wrong, then it bears actually figuring out which one it is, not dismissal into some nebulous third category. If you have a basis for your morality, a foundation for it, then there will always be an answer. And if you do not, then trying to decide whether anything is right or wrong is an exercise in futility and irrelevance." End quote. Many of us will justify some of our choices as being neither good nor bad, just gray. In other words, it doesn't matter whether I do this or not. It is just a neutral choice. But all choices we make influence our character and often the people around us. Is it a neutral choice to listen to this particular song, or does it improve our mood and uplift us, moving us to do good things? Is it neutral to play video games instead of helping out around the house? The nuance is not always in the action itself, but rather in the timing of the action. Maybe there are times when one type of music can help you to de-stress and relax when you need it, but at other times you need to listen to something else. Maybe video games are an active good in building camaraderie with friends, but when taken in large doses become a selfish and pernicious poison in our most important relationships. If we have doubts about whether an activity or choice is good or evil, it is far better to give it the attention it deserves and figure it out. Often, those hesitations themselves are our conscience telling us that there is, in fact, something better that we could be doing with our time. Other times, we may be preventing ourselves from being a great aid to other people. We may, through self-doubt, convince ourselves that some act of charity isn't really that important and would just be silly, depriving ourselves and others of the benefits of service. In every act, we should strive to live life on purpose. We will all fall short of this ideal at times and live by impulse, but that does not mean that we should not try. The more we carefully consider our words, actions, and thoughts, the easier it will be next time to do the same thing. Over time, we will see the fruits of our efforts as we start to become, a little bit at a time, the ideal version of ourselves. Did you enjoy this week's episode of Wisdom in the Best Books and Films? If so, I would ask you to please go and share with anyone that you can think of who may benefit from these topics. Discuss it at work, with friends, at church, anywhere where the opportunity feels natural and the topics would be helpful to others. I personally am not a huge self-promoter, and so the only way that this podcast will get to reach very many people at all is through the listeners. Please also share with me if anything that you've heard has been impactful in your life, or share with me any ideas that you may have of wisdom that you've gleaned from different books or films. Be happy to hear from you anytime, and I will respond to all emails. You can find information for how to contact me in the show notes. Hope to hear from you soon.